Hello, this is Leonard Davis interviewing Walkie and Janet Ray here on lovely Bay Island, and we're going to find out what they've done and contributed to the community and their memories of many years living here. So let me start with, you grew up in Corona del Mar, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and we're the same for you, or?
We met in Corona Highlands in the third grade at the bus stop.
Okay, met at the bus stop in third grade. I like that.
And it's not a joke, it's true.
And you went to Corona del Mar Elementary then, right? Or
Actually, I went to Harbor View.
Harbor View, okay.
No, I went to Corona del Mar Elementary.
Okay, so
and I was in the first graduating class at Harbor View.
Okay.
And she was in the first graduate. She was the first woman graduate of Corona del Mar High School.
Okay. All right. And
Well, you jumped ahead there.
and you also went to Ensign, I think, too. Yeah, I went there.
And Harbor.
Yeah, on Harbor, and then you went to Harbor High School, or did you go to Corona del Mar High School also?
I went to Harbor.
Yeah,
She went to CDM.
That was the right school. Anyway, yeah, I know there's always been kind of a rivalry there between, but when I was in high school, I went to Harbor, and I had a girlfriend for a while who went to Corona del Mar. It was kind of like the Capulets and the Montagues, but anyway, it didn't work out. Okay, so and then you've pretty much stayed in Newport all your life, or have you moved around much?
Well, we couldn't afford to live in Newport at the outset, so we lived in various other communities here in Orange County, and then
what year did you come back here? Do you remember?
Well, we both went up to Stanford, and then after you graduated from grad school, we came back in '69.
Okay.
I think.
But we didn't move to Newport Beach.
No,
You got married in '69, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we moved to Newport in probably 73, 74.
Okay, so mid-70s, okay.
Yeah.
All right, and how many places have you lived in town?
Well, we lived in just two. Just two. Irvine Terrace, and we were there for 25 years.
Right.
And then we moved here in 2002 or 3.
Okay. At 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and okay, I'm kind of curious as to your perspective on Bay Island. I mean, this is a very, very special place, and I heard you have to be voted on or something, or you have to join the club or something.
Well, Bay Island is a co-op.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a corporation that was formed in I think 1903, so it's very old, and the incorporation called for ownership of lots, and not to be strictly fee ownership. Rather, we own shares in a corporation and enjoy the exclusive rights to this little piece of property. Okay,
so it's designated that this is your place and that's their place as far as that goes. Okay.
And then there's common, in the center is common.
So when you bought this place, then you had to become a shareholder in the corporation.
Right, and yes, they interviewed us.
Okay.
And they wanted to know things they probably are not at liberty to ask for nowadays. Yeah. But we were asked where we went to school and where we even went to high school. So it was a little different. So, since then, I think they've altered the articles of incorporation so as not to require that.
And do most of the residents live here, or are there a lot of part-time people, or?
On this side of the island, most of them are permanent residents. It just turns out that way. I don't know why. On the other side of the island, a lot of them, it's a second home, or it's been in the family for a long time. So, but when we moved here, there was rarely turnover. That was in 2005. But then they had to redo the seawall and the bridge.
Yeah, I remember that.
And there were big assessments. So there was a turnover in the course of several years there.
And did you folks build this house, or it looks pretty new? So
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a
I
house
noticed
here.
there's the house, when you come on the island, that's obviously got to be an original house, that green one there.
That'll be going down in September.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a house where the Rose Parade Queen, the whole party of Rose Parade princesses would come in October. It was traditional because the family was from Pasadena, I guess, or something, and then they would select the actual queen on this particular weekend, and they'd play volleyball on the beach and go down to the fun zone. But they sold that house, and now it's going to be rebuilt.
Okay.
Torn down and rebuilt.
And so building a house here is pretty difficult because you can't get trucks and bulldozers on the island, can you? Or how do they?
Yeah, it's a problem.
How can they engineer all this with that?
Well, you could, if you organize yourself and you have little trucks, not trucks, but little carry-alls, you can bring everything over the bridge.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
We had to bring concrete block and structural steel over by barge.
Okay.
But it was a very modest amount. However, it does cost more.
Oh, I would imagine.
One reason is that there's no parking.
Yeah.
We residents here each unit has 2 parking spaces and a little parking structure.
Okay.
But if we have guests, they've got to park in the street, and so and there's not that much parking on the peninsula.
The first question you get asked is, how do you get your groceries onto the island? And the first answer is, you carry them. So a lot of people have
golf cart.
A lot of people have golf courts, but I decided we didn't want one because if we're forced to walk, that's good for us.
Okay. All right. That would work. Or you could bring it by boat, Duffy boat.
There you go.
Anyway, so and then just the community here. Obviously, it's a much tighter knit community than most places in town. On Lido Isle, a lot of people know each other if they're members of the club. But are you close with your neighbors, or do you never see them, or?
I think that's something that we probably should just close with some of them and not all of them.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Yeah, we know our.
we know them.
We know our neighbors better than we did in Irvine Terrace,
Yeah.
where most of the neighborhoods are just garage doors.
Yeah. You never see anybody come and go.
Yeah.
Here you've got a lot more visibility, and you're walking around probably. One more question about life on Bay Island, and we'll move on. But what's the best thing you like about living here in this community?
I think right where we are right now. It's a great view, and we're lucky to be here. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a very beautiful place. It's
You get to look at Lido Isle.
yes, we do.
So, all right. And then you said earlier you're members of the Balboa Yacht Club. Any other clubs, or?
Pacific Club, but that's not
okay.
a yacht club.
Yeah.
No,
I know that.
we've been members of the Balboa Yacht Club since 1975. So,
Well, we were both members as kids.
Yeah.
Both our families were members too.
and my father was on the school board, the Newport Beach Elementary School Board,
Okay.
when I graduated.
Before they unified.
No,
Oh.
he was on before it unified.
Yeah.
He said before.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
before they
Yes.
unified, I think 65 or something. I think something like that.
Right. In fact, there's an interesting story. You know where Roy Anderson School is?
I think so. Yeah.
It's in the Port Streets.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a intermediate school, isn't it, honey?
No,
No, I don't think it's even, it
Elementary.
must be elementary.
Okay, elementary. And
Because I used to sub for the district years ago, and I've been to all the junior highs and high schools, but didn't get to all the elementary ones. But anyway, go on.
but Roy Anderson is named Roy Anderson because when the schools districts unified, the 3 districts became one. Roy Anderson didn't have a PhD, and so he lost out for to be the superintendent, overall superintendent. And so many board members felt that he had done a good job, so they recommended that the new school be named
The
after.
consolation prize.
Yeah,
Okay.
consolation prize.
That's good. So okay, you have kids here too, obviously. You said you had grandkids, so tell me about them. How many
we
children do you
have
have?
5 adult children,
Okay.
and they're all married, and then we just had our 12th grandchild
Oh, okay.
this last year. And they're each represented by a flag and
Yeah, I
broken up
think
by the different families.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So one family looks like they're doing a little more activity than the other three.
More prolific.
Okay. And and obviously they come down and enjoy the water with you guys a lot. And,
Yep.
and do they live in town or?
A couple do, and our son lives in Japan.
Oh, okay.
The one with so many kids, though, the 2 oldest ones are in college, and they live here
Okay.
instead of Japan.
Okay.
They live with us ever since COVID.
And then,
So you're not total empty nesters then?
no, we have a son.
Never knew what that was. I always got kind of close to it, and then something else would happen.
Somebody, well,
Yeah.
in our family, somebody always came back home for a while to live with mom.
Yeah.
So until the end, so she's had at least one kid living with her most of the time. But anyway, okay. So now you were in developing real estate, and that was your forte. So tell me about that, and when did you get started with that, and maybe some of the projects you've been involved with.
Well, my father was a contractor and part-time real estate developer when times were good. And so when I got out of college, I went to work for him. And I was a contractor for many years. And ultimately I segued completely into real estate development, which is where we earned enough money to afford to live here. So we've got a portfolio of properties. Now I'm more or less semi-retired, but it's quite a number of our properties are in Newport, and we take a special pride in those.
And any particular developments that one might recognize the name of, like any certain shopping centers or anything that you've done?
Well, we over the years we've bought a lot of property from the Irvine Company. Every once in a while, every few years, the Irvine Company would need money, and so they would sell some land, and we were frequently there when they sold, and so we're one of the largest owners of retail properties on the Irvine Ranch. The Irvine Company, of course, being way and beyond the largest.
Okay.
So, but most of the properties are in Irvine. Frankly, it's been we've been very lucky. We've had
those all bean fields and orange groves when I was growing up. So, and you've been involved in a lot of philanthropy, like the ballet and that, and some other things. What?
Yeah.
So I remember hearing your name about that. So tell us about what you did.
Well, that's a good question. Besides trying to bring up the family, we both got involved in the Discovery Science Center.
Yeah.
In the late 80s, before it was anything in particular, and have continued to stay involved in many ways, and that's probably our pet project. And then I've been involved in mine research and Ballet Pacifica and Orange County High School of the Arts, and now Sherman Gardens. So we're very involved there currently, and there are other other things, but
The Sherman Gardens is our next.
Yeah, didn't you get put on the board there or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
And we have an ambitious program to renew it and grow it, subject to the constraints of being in Corona del Mar, where traffic is always an issue. But it's a beautiful facility. I don't know if you've been there or not.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it's
We used to have our meetings there years ago for the Historical Society in their library room.
Oh,
When I first joined the society. So
it's fabulous, fabulous, just fabulous.
yeah.
And they have thousands of palms and hundreds of different orchids. It's just remarkable.
Oh, oops. Didn't sound like. Anyway, excuse me. So what plans do you have then for the Sherman Gardens?
Well, over the next 3 or 4 years, we need to get approvals from the city, of course. But we hope to put a little parking deck in the back with landscaping on the top deck and parking below.
Okay.
Kind of where the parking is now, if you've been to Sherman Gardens.
But it'll be more below grade.
It'll be lower.
And then you'll put a canopy or something on top of that. Yeah. Okay.
Right. And then we need new bathrooms.
So you'll have more parking and more green space.
Yes.
All right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And we need to get the ADA requirements under control.
They want to put the restaurant there so popular, but it's not visible from PCH. You can, as you know, you can drive by Sherman Gardens without even knowing it's there.
Yeah.
And so they want to bring the restaurant where the current store is, so that, and it can be used lunch and dinner. And then
people could go in without necessarily going through the gardens to get to it. So.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then another aspect of the this growth that they're addressing is the education programs, and where the restaurant is now can be used for bringing school groups in and having educational programs. They have a lot of programming already, but I just think it's quite exciting. That there's just some different aspects of it. And then of course there's the library, which is interesting. So.
Any other big projects for you lately besides that?
Yeah, apartments.
Well, we finished some apartments in Irvine, but that's
What you do a lot of, right?
yeah, we own together with another gentleman the Newport Landing,
Okay.
the land there, and so we're probably going to be doing some things there in the years to come. But other than that, no big projects.
So let's go back in time a little bit. What are some of your favorite memories of Newport Beach back when you were growing up, and then maybe when you became a couple and moved back here?
Well, okay, I was born on Balboa Island, so my memory...
On the island? At home?
Well, no, at home.
Yeah, his mother just stopped one day and decided.
No, my parents lived on Balboa Island.
No, I know people who have kids at home back in those days, so...
Well, that was 1945.
Yeah, okay.
And...
that's before Hoag Hospital. So where did one get born then?
In St. Joseph's.
Okay.
That was the only game in town.
Okay.
And the war wasn't even over. I think we'd settled with Germany, but not with Japan. And Roosevelt was still a president, and the bomb hadn't been dropped. So.
So what month were you born?
March.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Roosevelt was still alive then.
Yep. And what I remember are the war surplus stores. They were up and down Newport Boulevard.
Yeah, that's Grant's. Grant's used to be.
Was one of them.
Yeah.
But there were several, not just Grant's. And I remember going into these stores and leaving with canteens and belts and knapsacks and shovels that collapsed and folded. We didn't know there had been a war, and on one hand. On the other hand, it was all around us. So those are a distinct part of my
Remember, I used to go to Grant's with Mom, and she just called it the war surplus store.
Yeah,
I don't think it was even called Grant's
right,
then.
Right.
And it's when you got blue jeans and camping equipment.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay, I remember those days.
Do you remember the pup tents you could buy? World War II pup tents.
Yeah. So I didn't have one, but we made tents out of the patio furniture. I put a blanket over it. But so how about you? What's your memory from way back?
Well, my family moved down here in early 50s from Beverly Hills. My dad was a pediatrician, and I remember we would come on the weekends to Balboa Island, and he'd bring my brother and me, and we were little, and he realized that he didn't want to bring his kids up in Beverly Hills. He liked it better down here, and so we drove down. We were on PCH, and diagonally from where the Five Crowns is, which was the Hurley Bell, I think, at the time.
That's right.
I remember.
You do.
But there was an extra. How did that work? Maybe one less lane, but I remember he.
Maybe Coast Highway hadn't been widened.
Right, it hadn't been widened, and there was grass in front of the building where this other pediatrician retiring was wanting to move on, and it was just a small beach town, really small beach town. And so then we moved to Corona Highlands, and the big thing I remember, because Walkie lived there too, and he'd remember, but lots of the lots were vacant. And so talk about building forts and pup tents, or not pup tents, but we would play in the vacant lots and dig holes and make forts and
nobody had fenced them off in those days to keep you out.
Kick the can. I don't know if kick the can was one of our favorites until it got dark, and then we had to come in.
Yeah.
But we were out in the street all the time. So.
'Cause I remember Lita Weil having lots of vacant lots, and they were just play yards for all the kids and whatever. So.
Well, my generation invented the skateboard.
Okay.
Seriously, I remember taking skates.
Yeah, and you pick a board and.
We're all of this.
With a key, and you'd screw them to the underside of a 2x4.
Yeah.
And you go down seaward, or we'd go down seaward.
I remember those.
Then
before they had.
Then you break your arm and.
It gets scraped.
So did you ride skateboards a lot then?
Yeah, we did our share.
Did you ride skateboards?
I did more roller skating.
Okay.
Yeah. A little more cautious than you.
Skateboards became the cool thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember roller skates. And did you ever go to there was a roller rink on the corner of Newport Boulevard? And
oh, yeah.
I remember it kind of near 17th Street. It's where the Walgreens is now.
Yeah, sure.
There was a roller rink there. I remember going there.
Yes,
so.
I remember
Walkie went there.
They were next to Van's Bowling Alley.
Yeah. Do you remember when
I don't remember the
we
bowling
went there
alley, but
on a date?
Yes, I do.
And then you did this with your pants, and your pants ripped open?
I don't remember that part.
didn't get a video of that, did you?
No video.
No, well, I didn't have video. They didn't have video phones.
Like I say, we met in 3rd grade, but we did.
But you didn't go to the same school, though.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you said you went to Corona and he went to Harbor View.
No, we both went. We were at Harbor View.
Uh huh.
No, you mean?
And then Horace Henson.
Yeah.
And then I went to Harbor, and he went to Harbor, but he stayed at Harbor, and I moved on.
So you didn't go to Corona Del Mar
Elementary? No, not Corona Del Mar Elementary.
Right.
No, I was in Beverly.
I did.
Oh, you did. So,
Yeah,
but then you transferred.
Kindergarten through
Okay.
2nd grade.
Well, I was at Beverly Vista in Beverly Hills,
you
so
weren't at
there.
Corona Del Mar Elementary.
I know.
Much better school.
So then you both ended up at Harbor View. Okay, all right. I can
Yeah.
understand that now. And yeah, I don't think Corona Del Mar Elementary is there anymore. I think they tore that.
Yeah,
they built
right.
houses or something there.
Houses.
So, did you build the houses?
No.
No, you didn't. You weren't the one that did that. Okay. What was the difference between the two schools as far as you were concerned, or did you really pay that much attention?
Corona Del Mar and Harbor?
No, between the two elementary schools. Because you said you went to both.
This competition will never stop.
What I remember about Corona Del Mar,
The elementary school.
Corona Del Mar Elementary,
Yeah.
is that we would listen to music, and the teacher would put a record, I guess a 33 and a third RPM
Yeah, we had those.
on a turntable,
Those days.
and she'd wind it up. There was a crank. Now it had an electrical amplification, but the motor to turn the turntable was mechanical.
You are older than I am.
Well, I do remember that, and
I know what I remember about that. When the school was there, there was the library, a little. It had been a house, and it was this tiny library before the one that was built on Marigold. And that's where we would get our library books. It was so little. Yeah.
And I remember we May 1st, we would there was a May party, and we had maypoles. We boys and girls would have streamers attached to a vertical pole, and you dance around the pole. And I don't remember much beyond that, but that was subsequently found to be inappropriate because it had communist origins. Labor Day was.
Well, it actually goes back to the Middle Ages, but.
Does it?
Oh yeah, I mean we did that at our school for our history fair. But
all right, but you.
Well, there was a lot of you're a communist kind of a mentality back then, and anything that was connected with something like, because May Day is the Soviet holiday too. So, yeah, I remember those days. And then you graduated Newport Harbor in what year?
63.
63, okay. So you were in between me and my siblings, so you probably didn't know any of them. And you graduated from Corona Del Mar?
In 64.
64, okay. And you said you were in the first graduating class? Yeah,
She was the first woman graduate.
First woman?
The valedictorian and salutatorian were both boys.
Okay.
And Janet had the highest GPA among the girls. So she was selected to be the third graduate and the first woman
This is a little known fact.
Okay. And they didn't have you be the valedictorian, huh?
Well,
Doesn't seem fair, does it?
no, it was all fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I guess the rivalry between Harbor and Corona Del Mar
Lives on.
started then.
Yeah.
And still,
Yeah.
and you guys throw things at each other once in a while because of that, or?
Yeah.
Haven't you seen it?
Or you
His
go to
reaction?
when they have a game between the two schools or whatever, do you guys go to those at all?
We have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as much as we should.
We're not really that good of, what do you call it, spectator sport people. We're more boaters.
Okay.
We don't have our boat now, but we've always had boats. And we like that, but
Tell me about your boats. I see you've got a little Duffy out there.
yeah,
And is that your only boat now, or?
that's the only one we have.
Yeah.
Okay, but what did you have before?
Well, we for 20 years we had an offshore 52, which is a 52
Which
foot.
isn't like the one over there.
Yeah, just like the one that.
Yeah.
But it's a 52-foot sedan style.
Yeah.
If you know what that means.
Cabin cruiser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we took it to Mexico most years, and all the way down to as far south as Zihuatanejo. But
And you probably kept it here at the
Yeah.
time, yeah.
But boats get old, just like people, and there came a time when one of the engines was going to have to be redone, and the generator had 8,000 hours on it, and the bow thruster was not working. So we decided then to exit our career in boating.
You go to Catalina much for that?
Yes,
Yeah,
we went to all the Channel Islands,
Yeah.
and enjoyed it immensely.
And did you have a sailboat?
Yes, before that we did. We had a Downeaster 38,
Okay.
which is a 38-foot cutter rig sailboat.
We had that for 20 years,
We had
too.
that for 20 years, yeah. And we took it to most of the Channel Islands and certainly Catalina many times.
Did you ever know Robert Grant? He was a developer and a nautical guy back in.
Yeah, older than.
Yeah,
I know. And his son is Taylor.
Okay, because he developed Newport Crest where I live.
Yeah, sure.
And so, do you know? What can you tell me about him? Just curious.
Well, I know his son Taylor,
Okay.
who lived in I think the Port Streets,
Okay.
and he was also a developer. But yeah, Robert Grant did Linda Isle.
Okay.
That's right. But I don't.
That was kind of before your time,
Yeah,
though.
that he was.
Taylor's more our age.
Taylor is
Yeah, okay.
his son.
Yeah.
Is
Well, Linda Island was about 1970 when that, I think, was opened up or so. Because I remember the 60s, it was still a sandbar.
Shark Island.
Shark
Yeah,
Isle.
Shark
We used
Island,
to
yeah.
take our
Well, who did?
Metcalfs
Yeah.
there.
Or Boston Whaler or something. Yeah, that's who didn't know. We used to go there all the time too. So,
Oh, so you knew Shark Island.
yeah, when I was a kid, we'd go over play Army or whatever on there, and do the landing. And I know they filmed a couple of, at least one movie there. Iwo Jima, Sands of Iwo Jima.
I
I
didn't
heard
know
that was filmed there. But yeah, that was. You know, if you had a friend with a Boston Whaler, that was the boat of choice to get around back in those days. So.
We had a Lido 14, but my family. You had Metcalf.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you sailed did you sail in any regattas at all?
Oh,
or-
yeah. I used to teach at the Balboa Yacht Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
A sailing instructor?
Actually, I was a swimming instructor.
A swimming instructor, okay.
Yeah. That's when they would swim in the bay. Now the guards are going by Bay Island in the bay. It's cool. But yeah, and then at Stanford I taught some sailing.
They don't really have anywhere to swim in the bay over there anymore. It's all marina now. But
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to teach when Buddy Ibsen was around too, and his kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what is are you planning to just stay here for the rest of the days, or you never want to move anywhere else, I guess, huh?
I'm not going to say that. You know.
Whoa.
I mean, why would you want to? But
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that too. You know, we'll adjust to the times, but we have no interest at this time in moving. So
no, I wouldn't either. But so you love it in town, and you've got so many projects keep you busy. So do you have much time, or you're just sitting around with time to read a book or anything, or?
Well, we actually have done a lot of traveling.
Yeah, okay.
But since COVID, I have to say we curtailed all that for some
Do you
time.
cruise ships or just traveling or?
I like to charter yachts myself.
Oh, okay. All right.
typically we would, together with maybe 3 other couples, we charter a crude
Well, that's the way to do it.
100-foot yacht.
In the Mediterranean or the Caribbean or something.
That'd be
like
nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
It really is.
that. I'm ready to do it again.
She is, and she's telling you the truth.
So one question going back to Bay Island, you mentioned they have the parking structure. I've never actually seen it. It must be over there somewhere, but you only get 2 spaces in there, huh?
Yep.
And you don't have any room to put junk there either, probably no. So it's just a parking area.
But you bring up a good point.
Yeah.
You're right. There's no garage to put your stuff in the attic.
Yeah.
So when we built this house, we created a special space just to store stuff.
So you could have a garage-like room, just put stuff. Okay, I get it. Yeah, well, that's a good idea. What year did you build this house? I'm going to guess maybe around early 80s, maybe, or maybe newer than that, or 90s.
It was 2000.
Oh.
This house.
Oh, you moved here after 2000.
Yeah,
so.
we moved in 2005, and
Okay.
then we moved back in here in 2009.
Oh, so you built it then? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very beautiful home.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, do you have any last comments you'd like to make? We need to wrap this up, but
Okay, well, let's see. The only other thing of modest interest, I had a dear friend dating from the earliest days when in Colonel Highlands, Greg MacGillivray, and he's turned out to be an IMAX movie producer of quite some fame. And the two of us had a newspaper together in Corona Highlands. We called the Highland Fling, and it was on legal size paper, and you could buy ads, and the merchants in Corona Del Mar bought the ads, and you could subscribe. And we had 300 or 400 subscribers and 50 advertisers,
and it cost about 20 cents or 10 cents or something per copy, or
something like that. Yeah.
And it was mimeographed. Your mother mimeographed.
Right.
And how long did that go for?
Well, it went for a year.
Okay.
But
they were even on TV.
We were on TV.
They were 10 years old, and
oh, you were just a kid then. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
This is not a college project.
No, not hardly. But that's about it, I guess.
Mimeographs. That takes you way back.
Actually, it predated the mimeograph.
Yeah.
It was what's called a hectograph.
Hectograph. Okay.
And the way that works is you had a pan, yay by that deep, and you'd put a gelatinous liquid into it, and it would solidify. And then you would take mimeograph paper, which you had typed on, and you'd lay it down on this gelatin, and for a minute, then you'd pull it off, and the ink would have transferred to the gelatin. And then you could put successive pieces of paper down and pull them off, and a small portion of the ink would transfer each time.
And then so eventually it would run out, and
yeah, it was a very inefficient printing press.
Sounds laborious.
Sounds archaic.
Laborious, but
yeah.
I guess it'd be easier than typing them all up individually. So,
and the copy machines weren't handy.
No, there were no Xerox machines those days.
I do have one other thing that comes to my mind now that we've been sitting here talking. But I've been on the board of trustees of the Newport Beach Public Library for the last 8 years.
Okay.
And I forgot about that. But it was very important to me because it was a different kind of role than being on a board of like a non-profit, because you really are a public servant. And so it was a great learning experience for me. But there are a couple projects now I'm just had to roll off because my term was up. But I've been involved with the Library Lecture Hall, which is the Woody Hall, and it's not built yet, but that's a very pet project that I have, and I hope that it will be.
What's the name of the hall? It's Woody.
WITTE.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh.
Because they have hall.
Okay.
It'll be a hall for lectures. or you can have your meetings there. Or
this is the one that they're going to build at the main library.
At the main library.
Yeah, okay.
It's
but
going to be wonderful.
Yeah, I'm kind of familiar with that. I just didn't know the name, but
the other project associated with the library is the branch at the Newport at the Balboa, and that's actually significant to me too because Walkie's dad in the 50s remodeled that.
We built the library.
Well, yeah. The original, built it, but the original Balboa branch really was located in a different spot, and then it moved there.
Okay.
But my point is, it is going to be that, and the fire station will be torn down and rebuilt, not looking just like they're looking right now, but they're way outdated.
yeah.
And that's really important to me too, because just living here, I realized that the neighbors will ask, "What are they ever going to rebuild it?" Or, it's just an important hub in the community.
Yeah.
So.
I know we have our little museum room there. If you've been in there, so
yeah. So then people don't like to see change, but I think that it's going to be a good change.
So you're on the library board of has the there's all this talk and kerfuffle about book banning and all that these days. Is that what's the impact on that as far as you're concerned?
They're discussing. It's a point of discussion.
Yeah.
I think I won't get into it right now.
All right, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Any last parting shots?
Parting shots.
Well, we're very lucky to have grown up in Newport, and very lucky to have landed here. The Island Avenue is anchored by Bay Island here, and by the library and fire station at the other end, and it's a wonderful street. The people, we have block parties. Neighbors.
So you associate with the Off-Islanders?
Oh yeah, we do. We do. There's some very nice people, and we've become fast friends with many of them.
Okay.
So we're lucky people.
Well, you have many more years of good luck.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. This is Leonard Davis again, signing off for our interview with Walkie and Janet Ray, and it's a pleasure talking with both of you.
Thank you.
And I learned a lot of things too. So.